Liv Morgan and Backstage reaction to WWE Evolution 2.0 revealed by veteran. The Backstage reaction to the upcoming WWE Evolution 2.0 event and Liv Morgan missing the show has been revealed. Morgan is reportedly set to be on the shelf for at least 6 months after suffering a shoulder injury last Monday on Raw. Seconds into her match against Kairi Sane, Morgan landed awkwardly on her right arm and was diagnosed with a separated shoulder. She reportedly will undergo surgery soon and could miss half a year of action. Natalya shared on Busted Open Radio that the Miracle Kid was looking forward to performing at Evolution next month. The Queen of Hearts also shared her reaction to the second-ever all-women's premium live event in WWE history. "We're so excited for Evolution because we haven't had Evolution since 2018. So everybody's just like, it's just such a cool feeling, especially in the locker room. We're all just excited. We're all just like, okay, what are the matches and will we be on the card and how is it shaping up?" And I know Liv was especially excited for that, Natalya said. For 49 to 507, Natalya added that Liv Morgan will have all the time to be in other big events once her shoulder injury heals. Morgan was rumored to have a match at Evolution involving Nikki Bella. She was also in a storyline with Roxanne Perez and IYO SKY before suffering the injury. Natalya believes Liv Morgan will come back stronger and become a bigger star. On the same episode of Busted Open Radio, Natalya explained why she thought that Liv Morgan could become an even bigger WWE superstar upon her return from injury. "I do know one thing. That is a woman that always lands on her feet and she always takes whatever it is that she's given and she makes it better. So whatever it is that's going on with her, she is going to take it and she is going to run with it and she is going to make it gold and she's going to come back stronger than she's ever been. So for that, I am excited for her because sometimes, it just takes something like this to ignite a fire to start an even bigger story," Natalya said. 2:40 to 3:08, if the timetable for her recovery is correct, Morgan could be ready by December or January. She returned from a left shoulder injury at the 2024 Royal Rumble and turned into one of the biggest female WWE superstars on the roster. Takedown Discussions. How can WWE work around Liv Morgan's injury ahead of Evolution? Rick Ucchino and SP3 are in for this week's episode of the Takedown Discussions. They guys look at how big an impact Liv Morgan's unfortunate injury will have on WWE Evolution. Liv Morgan is expected to miss months of action after she suffered a dislocated shoulder this past Monday night on Raw. Multiple outlets have reported that the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion will require surgery to correct the issue, which was described as a worst-case scenario by PW Insider. There's never a good time for an injury, but Morgan's upcoming absence is coming at the worst possible time with Evolution 2 a little over 3 weeks away. The WWE creative team had Liv in place to be a key cog throughout the build to the show, with her having storylines that involve IYO SKY, Nikki Bella, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez. The saving grace for WWE Chief Content Paul Triple H Levesque will be the incredible depth in the Raw Women's division. As valuable as Liv Morgan has become, a couple of common-sense moves could put the show right back on track and keep things moving until she's ready to return. Rick Ucchino is joined by SP3 on this week's edition of the Takedown Discussions. The guys will dive into the potential ripple effect of Morgan's injury and the easiest solutions to the problems created by it. Plus, will ROH Women's World Champion Athena get to compete at AEW All in Texas or not? The guys will talk about what Tony Khan should do after our conversation with the Fallen Goddess had her trending this week. Athena found a true equal in Mercedes Moné and eagerly awaits round 2, exclusive. New episodes of the Takedown Discussions are available every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, unless there is a massive StreamYard outage like there was this past week. You can watch every show on the Takedown on SI YouTube channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our exclusive interviews, talk shows and more. Liv Morgan wants Drake and Sabrina Carpenter to remix her WWE theme. WWE Women's Tag Team Champion and Judgment Day member Liv Morgan recently spoke with Billboard about various topics. One highlight from the conversation was her desire for pop music stars Drake and Sabrina Carpenter to collaborate on a remix of her entrance theme music. Morgan said, "I'd like a collaboration between Sabrina Carpenter and Drake. If they could come together and do some cool remix of my song, I think that'd be pretty good. There's a little giggle at the beginning, that could be Sabrina, then Drake could chime in and say some cool shit about me." You can check out Morgan's comments in the video below. Former WWE champion to return and replace Liv Morgan in major title match? Analyzing the possibility. WWE fans are upset after news recently emerged that Liv Morgan's injury sustained during Monday Night Raw will likely require surgery. This means that one of the most popular stars in all of wrestling will be out for quite some time. This is a blow for many reasons, but perhaps the biggest is that Liv was seemingly set to be IYO SKY's next challenger for the Japanese Sensations Women's World Championship. WWE could now pivot and have Morgan replaced by one of the most unlikely options imaginable, Gail Kim. Gail Kim is a professional wrestling legend who has had 2 previous stints with World Wrestling Entertainment and held the Women's Championship. However, she is perhaps most fondly remembered for her incredible on-screen work in TNA Wrestling, where she helped elevate women's wrestling in the United States. Kim also became an important asset behind the scenes, but has since been released by TNA Wrestling. In potentially big news, Gail has been at multiple WWE NXT events, and many fans and analysts assume she could be joining the Stamford-based company. A wrestler of Gail's caliber could absolutely fill in for Liv Morgan as IYO's next opponent. It would be incredible to see Kim end her in-ring career on a high note with a blockbuster title match at Night of Champions or Evolution. Plus, even after time away from the ring, she'd undoubtedly give her all in the bout. Gail Kim could also work behind the scenes in WWE. One last major world title match for Gail Kim sounds incredible, but whether that's in the cards or not, WWE should definitely put pen to paper for the former champion. She should be brought into the company right away. Specifically, Gail should work behind the scenes. As noted, she has played a major role in the success of the Knockouts division in TNA Wrestling, both on-screen and off. Gail has been a regular voice for women's wrestling for a long time now. Given the strength of women's wrestling in WWE these days, a voice like Gail's will only make it stronger. If Kim works in creative, female stars will become more empowered and likely more well-developed. Alternatively, Gail could serve as a producer or even a coach at the Performance Center. Regardless of the role she is given, there is no doubt that pro wrestling and the company itself will be strengthened by having her around and aiding the next generation of stars. Began. "I always step into the ring with deep respect for my opponent, and I train hard every day to give the audience something they can truly enjoy. Even if it was never intentional, knowing that someone was hurt in a match with me is something I carry deeply. It breaks my heart. I hope with all my heart for a full and speedy recovery. I will continue to give my all, hoping to bring excitement, not pain, to the ring," she concluded. Of course, Sane did not intentionally injure Morgan. It occurred during the opening moments of their match. Sane dodged one of Morgan's kicks, throwing her to the mat. Morgan landed awkwardly, and slow-motion replays show her expression change upon landing. She rolled out of the ring and was writhing in pain. WWE officials came to check on her at ringside, and she was escorted backstage. So, as Sane noted, she was named the winner since Morgan could not continue. We will see if they resume their feud whenever Morgan returns. Andrew Corpan is the lead entertainment editor and film critic for Clutch Points. Residing in Philadelphia, Andrew is an award-winning journalist with previous bylines at Collider, Above the Line, and Below the Line. Another unfortunate update on Liv Morgan's situation following her injury on WWE Raw reports. Liv Morgan had suffered an unfortunate injury to the elbow on Raw this past week, and the news regarding her expected timeout isn't getting any better, as we have another unfortunate update. According to a report on Fightful Select, there is no confirmation on how long the former Women's World Champion is expected to be out of action. As you may have heard, her Fanatics signing was shelved as a result. Not only this, but a lot of creative plans are being revamped as a result of this, as she was set to continue her role as a big part of WWE programming in 2025. According to the report from Fightful, talent are extremely disappointed, and Liv Morgan reportedly has a very high stature backstage and is one of the more revered figures in the locker room. It should be noted that Joey Votes and TC of WrestleVotes Radio on WrestleBinge stated that 6 months is the expected time period for Morgan's return. However, this latest report from Fightful seems to suggest that any figures are essentially estimates at this point. There was a huge moment planned on Raw prior to Liv Morgan's injury. It goes without saying that most people were concerned about the injury suffered by the Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. Even her biggest on-screen rival, Rhea Ripley, broke character to tell people to never celebrate an injury. But what would have happened on June 16 if the Liv Morgan-Kairi Sane match reached a definitive conclusion?